Hey everyone, and welcome back to Roadside Coder, and welcome to the 7th video of our MERN Stack Tutorial Series. In today's video, we are going to install React Router DOM and initialize the routes for our applications. In other words, we are going to create different pages for our React application, such as My Notes and landing page. Also, we're going to create this My Notes page with this beautiful accordion component and render out all of our notes in this screen. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here I've opened our project folder, and let's go to the terminal and install React Router DOM. But first we need to switch to front end since React Router DOM is going to be installed in our React app. So cd front end. Now let's install npm install React Router DOM. And meanwhile it's getting installed, let's check what we created in our previous video. So I'm going to type npm start and start our application. Oops, sorry, I need to switch to front end first. So npm start now. So here we go, our React app has started, and this is what we built in our previous video. Our nav bar with this My Notes link and this drop down with the name of the user which contains my profile and logout, and this landing page with these two buttons, login and sign up. Okay, let's head back to our application and let's see if the React Router DOM has finished installing. Yes, it has. Great. Now let's go to our app.js inside of the src app.js, and I'm going to create our first route. So before creating our first route, I need to import React Router DOM. So how do I do that? So I need to import a component called browser router from React Router DOM. So I'm gonna go over here in this React fragment that we had created. I'm gonna type browser router. So as you can see, it's changing in this tag and this tag as well. So it's one of the extensions that we have installed earlier. Auto rename tag. Okay, so let's press ctl space, and it's not auto importing, so let's manually import it. So import something from React Router DOM, and now let's try to import it. There we go, it's imported successfully. Now let's go on and create our first route. So as you can see, we have this landing page just hard coded over here, and I'm gonna remove it from over here, and I'm gonna add another React Router DOM component called route. So here you can see auto import from React Router DOM. So I'm going to click it and it's auto imported. So let's see how this tag works. So first of all, the first prop that this tag takes is path. So what is the path of this component? So I'm gonna say slash, since it's landing page, so it's going to be our home page. So I'm gonna keep it slash, and let's give it some component over here. So what will be the component? Yes, our landing page. Great. Now let's create another component for our My Notes page. But we haven't created that component yet. So let's go on our screen and create a new folder for My Notes. And inside of that folder, I'm going to create another file called mynotes.js. And I'm going to press RAFCE, and it's going to give a suggestion for this boilerplate code, and I'm going to write my notes and save it. Let's write it inside of an h1 tag. So h1 and save it. Now we're going to create another route. So I'm going to duplicate it by pressing Shift, Alt and down key. So the path for this route will be my notes. And the component that we are going to be using is My Notes component. So there's another way of importing a component inside of this component curly braces. Either we can write like this, or we can write like this by an arrow function by typing My Notes. There we go. Our My Notes component has been imported. Now let's go back to our app and see if the React Router DOM is working or not. So I'm going to type npm start and start our app again. Here we go. This is our home page. Now let's try to go to our My Notes page. So I'm going to type slash My Notes. And nothing happened. Well, something did happen. If you scroll down, you're going to see My Notes over here. So what's going on over here? We have our landing page also rendering and My Notes page also rendering. So how to stop that? So what you need to do is you need to add an exact over here. So what's happening over here is when we are hitting My Notes route, you can see there's a slash. That means our home page is also included in this route. To remove that, we are going to add this exact in this path, in the landing page path, and save it up. And now if we check, you're gonna see my notes page rendered over here. Now great, but we cannot every time go over here in the URL and manually type my notes every time, or let's say type landing page every time. So we're gonna use this nav bar to navigate throughout our application. So let's go and configure this my notes link to take us to the my notes page. So let's get back to our application and inside of our header. One more thing, you can see our header is common in both of these routes, in this route and in this route as well. It's because we have written this outside of these routes tag. See, our header and footer will be common throughout this app. Okay, let's go to our header and let's change that link. So as you can see, this link is already there, but we're not going to use this href tag. We're going to use something else. We're going to use a link tag that is provided to us by React Router DOM. So I'm gonna import a link tag and you're gonna see auto imported. So I'm gonna push this node zipper inside of it. And this link tag takes a prop called to. So where do you want to go? We want to go to the slash route. Okay, that's done. Now we need to do the same for my notes. So either we can write over here my notes, or we can go inside of it and create a link tag for us. So to, we need to go to slash my notes. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. So we are currently in our home page and let's click on my notes, and our screen has changed without our app getting refreshed. Let me show you again. If we go and click on over here, you're gonna see it's not refreshing. This is the magic of React. This is the power of React Router DOM. Now we're going to create our next component, which is going to be main screen component. So what is main screen component? Let's go to our deployed application. Let's go to the deployed node zipper app. And when we log in, and just notice look of our application. In this page, you see this login heading over here with this divider in the between. Okay. Now, did you notice something similar? A title and a divider in between. Let's go and create a new note. A title and a divider in between. So we are using this thing over and over. So we should create a component that we need to only create once, and we can use it again and again whenever we want to create this section inside of a page. So as you can see, if we go to, let's say, edit node as well, you're gonna see similar layout. So this is what we are going to create. Let's head back to our app, and inside of our components folder, I'm going to create main screen.js, and inside of it I'm going to import a boilerplate code RAFCE, and inside of the main screen I'm going to create a div which is already created for us. So let's give it a class name of main background or main back. Alright, and inside of it I'm going to give it a container. I already explained what a container is in React Bootstrap. If you haven't watched our previous video, you can go and watch it. And inside of it, I'm going to create a row, since I'm going to be using one single row for displaying our title. Now inside of this row, I'm going to create another div which will contain all of our page data. Don't worry, you're gonna understand everything in just a minute. Let me create it real quick. Div class name page. Okay, so we're going to create this component such that even if we don't want to display the title, we should have a page that is as long as our screen is. So first of all, it's going to take a few props. First prop it's going to take is title, and other prop it's going to take is children. So what are these two props? So let's go back to our app. So see, the title will be this title and children will be whatever that is below this divider. Whatever that is below this divider. So we're going to check if we are provided a title. So title, and if there's a title, only then render this thing. I'm gonna add a React fragment. Inside of the React fragment, I'm gonna add an h1 with the class name of heading. And inside of it, I'm gonna render a title. And below this, we are having a divider. So HR, self-closing tag, there we go. This is how it's gonna look. And below this, below the divider, we're gonna have our children. So children, just like that. This is how our component is going to look like. So let's try it out. I'm gonna go to my notes page and let's import it up. Let's import main screen. So what does this main screen takes? It takes a title. Let's give it a title of welcome back. Oops, back. Let's say my name is Karwal. And let's save it up. And for children's, as you can see, this my notes is children. Okay, there's some error. Okay, my screen. There we go. So this is the children and this is the title prop. Let's save it up and check it out. Let's go to our app and go to my notes route. Just like that, you can see. Welcome back, Piyush Agarwal, and there's a divider and the children's are below that. So let's add some CSS to it. And I'm gonna go over here and create a new file for our CSS. So main screen.css. Oops, main.css, and let's import it inside of our main screen. Alright, first of all, I want to have font so that this thing looks good. So this font is called Work Sans. So let's go to Google Fonts and download this font. I'm gonna need the, let's say, okay, extra light 200. This looks good. So I'm gonna select this style and click on import and copy this line and paste it in my CSS. Okay, we have imported the font. Now let's start working on this main back class. Main back. So it's gonna have a min height of 93 viewport height, some display of flex, and some padding of top and bottom of 10 pixels. Let me show you. Just like that. So you can see our footer has been stuck back to the bottom. Alright, another styles will be for this page and this heading. So I'm gonna add it. So for page is going to have a width of 100% so that that divider gets spread to 100% of the page. And for the heading, we're gonna have font size of 60 pixels and the font that we imported, Work Sans, and some padding of top and bottom and left and right. Let's check it out. There we go. Looks beautiful. Looks just like our original application. But if we resize our page, you can see it still is too big for our a mobile device. So let me fix this real quick. I'm gonna add a media query below this. So if the screen size is less than 600 pixels, the font size will be reduced to 30 pixels, display will be flex, and justify content will be center. Since we have kept justify content to center, it's gonna display at the very center. And when the screen size increases, it's gonna go back to its original size. Alright, now let's start working on my notes page. This space right here. So first of all, if we go on over here, we have this button for creating a new note. So let's create this button first. So obviously we're going to use React Bootstrap button. So I'm gonna go to my notes. Inside of this main screen, I'm going to create a link tag from React Outer DOM, and it's gonna take us to create note, which we haven't yet created, but we are going to create it in the future. And it's going to have a button. Whoops, button. Also imported from React Bootstrap. And let's say create new note. Alright, let me give it some minimal styles. So some margin left of 10 pixels and some margin bottom of 6 pixels. And the size of it will be large. Oops, LG. If you want it to be small, you can add SM. There we go. Looks great. But it takes us to create note page, which we haven't yet created. So this is the one. Now, since we need to render all of these notes over here, so we need to have some data to work with. So let's get some data. So we have created a data folder in our backend. Let's take that data folder and bring it to our front end. We are not going to interact with our backend for now. We're just going to use some static data. But before rendering that, I'm going to introduce to something called cards in React Bootstrap. So go to React Bootstrap's configuration, inside of the components, and I'm going to search card. So cards. There we go. React Bootstrap has different types of cards, such as this, and this, and this, and that. But what we are going to use is this one. Nope, not this one. This one. This is the one that we are going to use. Let's check. See, this is the one that we are going to use. All right, so let's pick this whole code up, just like we did previously for our nav bar. Or you know what, let's go on and create this manually. So I'm gonna go back to our VS Code and I'm gonna import our card component. So card from material UI. Let's see, yeah, it's auto imported. And inside of it, we're gonna have card dot header for this header right here. So card dot header, which is going to have our title. So let's write title for now. And you know what, let me just cover it with a span tag. Okay. Now below this, we're going to have our div, which is going to have few buttons, which are these edit and delete buttons. So currently we are building our header, so we haven't gotten to the body part yet. So let's create button. First button will be for edit and the second button will be for delete. So let me give these some theme. So this button will be of variant danger, since we want it to be red. So variant danger. Oops. Yeah. And some class of margin left and right to be 2. All right, great. Now let's see how does that look. Let's go back to our app and there we go. Oops, what happened? So here's the title and here's some edit and delete. Oops, I think I have created that outside of my header. Yep, let me just bring in inside of the header. There we go, it's inside of our header. But it doesn't look good right now, so let me fix it. So for our card dot header, I'm going to give it some style of display flex so that it comes in single line. And for our card component, I'm going to give it some margin so that it has some spacing between two cards. Also for our span, for our title, I'm going to give it few styles, just like that. It's going to have a color black, text decoration will be none, flex will be 1 so that it takes full of the space and pushes these edit and delete to the right side. Cursor will be pointer, align self will be center, and font size will be it. Self-explanatory, I guess. There we go, you can see. Okay, since we have created our header, let's try to render out our notes for now without the body, just the header. So I'm going to open a JS tag over here and let's import these notes.js. So as you can see, this has an array of objects. So let me import it. So notes, let's see if it's, no, it's not getting imported. I have to manually import it. So import something from /no1 yep, data and notes. Now let's see. Yep, now it's getting imported. Okay, so we have to map it. So notes.map. And let's pass a note inside of it and an arrow function. And let's shift everything inside of it. I'm gonna take full of this card and paste inside of it. Okay, let's save it up. And so instead of the title, I'm gonna have note.title and save it. Let's see. Should work. Yep, there you go. All of our notes title has been rendered successfully. But what we want is whenever we click on this edit button, it should go to my notes / the ID of the note. So let's go to our edit button and I'm going to add an href of /note / ID. So note.ID. And whenever we delete something, what we want to do, we want to call a function. So on click, we want to call a function called delete handler. So we're going to pass a delete._id. We're going to pass a notes ID. So delete handler is not defined, obviously, so we need to define it. So let's go on over here and define it. There we go, just like that. So whenever we go to delete handler, it's going to take our ID and it's going to ask, are you sure? And then we want to write our delete operation inside of it. Great, let's check it out. Okay, let's click on edit and try to open it in new tab. And you can see /note/1. Let's try to build the body. So I'm gonna go below this card.header and build another component for card.body. body. Inside of this card.body, I'm going to have this code of block code. So I'm going to go back to our React Bootstrap and let's pick this code up so that it's going to display just like that. And first of all, it's going to display this and then it's going to display this. So I'm going to paste it over here. So there we go. Let's save it and check it out. Yeah, it's working absolutely fine. Okay, I noticed something weird. This link tag that I opened to create a new note, I forgot to close it, but it has gone down over here. So let's close it now. Yep. Great, it's working. Okay, it's fine. So over here, I'm gonna remove this content, and instead of this, I'm gonna render note.content. And instead of this thing, I'm going to render created on and some date. We don't have the date currently in our data, but when we push it to our database, then it's going to have one. So let's check it out. Okay, here we go. They are working absolutely fine. Great. Now what do we need to do? Okay, first of all, we need to add this category badge, and after that we need to create this accordion component. So when we click on it, the body gets expanded just like that. So first of all, let me add the badge real quick. So below this part, I'm going to have the badge component inside of an h4. So badge also comes from React Bootstrap. So will be note.category, a variant of success. Let's check it out. There we go. That's our card component completed. Now let's go and make it an accordion. So let's go to React Bootstrap's documentation again and accordion. Let's search the accordion. Whoops. Yep, there we go. When we click on it, it's gonna close and open. So how do we use it? So inside of the card component, we need to wrap it with this accordion tag, and we have to create a toggle button. For example, in this case, it's click me. So in our case, we can create our header as a toggle. And what do we want to collapse? We want to collapse our card.body. So we're going to cover it by accordion.collapse. All right, great explanation. So let's go on and do this. First of all, we need to cover it with the accordion component. So accordion, there we go. I hope it's imported. Yep, now it's imported. Let's take our card component and paste it inside of the accordion. All right, now it's time to create the toggle for our card header. So I'm gonna go over here and type accordion. Oops, I forgot to add dot collapse. Okay, dot collapse. And inside of it, I'm gonna take our notes.title, and accordion.collapse is going to have as. So as is going to be card.text, and it's going to have a variant. It's going to have a variant of link, and it's going to have an event key. Now I'll explain what event key does in a minute. So event key is an identifier, like what do you want to trigger with this accordion.collapse. So we're going to trigger is our card body. So we're going to wrap our card body with accordion.collapse. Accordion.collapse. Okay, I made a mistake. It was supposed to be accordion.toggle over here. So toggle, not the collapse. Collapse is going to be over here. So let's cover this just like that. And now we're going to give this event key as well, so that it can identify that that button is supposed to collapse this component. Now let's go back and check it out. Let's click on it. Wow, it's working absolutely fine. Congratulations, we have successfully created our My Notes page. And now in our next video, we are going to connect our backend to our front end, and we are going to serve those nodes from backend to front end. And then later in this series, we are going to connect our application to MongoDB, and we are going to store our data to MongoDB and use the features like login and sign up, and then we are going to create nodes by help of our backend, and then edit and delete load, and much more, which will be coming in this series in the future. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, just go to youtube.com/roadside coder and click on the subscribe button, and you can see this guy has already subscribed, which is me. I have created another channel to subscribe to my other channel. Sad life. And let's go to playlists and click on view full playlist, and you're going to find all of the videos for our MERN playlist over here. So you can click on this button, save playlist, so that you can get access to this playlist whenever you want to have it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.